Traveling with just a carry-on and a personal item could be so liberating. But what happens if you're using one of those airlines that has a 17-kilogram limit and your toiletry bag is taking up 2 of those kilograms? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can cut down on your toiletry bag and not sacrifice a thing. So stay tuned. Now I'm speaking from experience here because this used to be my toiletry bag. And when I weigh it, it comes in as 1.9 kilograms. Well, that's a ton of weight to use up for your toiletries. And really, do I need everything that's in this bag? I found out I didn't. So I'm going to show you in this video how to cut down on not only your toiletries, but also your makeup. And I know you're not going to think it's possible, but you can. Now I get it, it's hard, because we've all seen those ASMR videos with the pretty little bags that are square and transparent, and they're throwing the things into the bags, and you hear the zips and the clicks, and it looks really great, right? Except that it's weighing a ton. And you don't need that when you're traveling. So let me show you some of my tips on how to cut down on the volume of your toiletries. And make sure you stay tuned to the end, because I'm going to have a little sweepstakes for free viewers. Also, anything I've shown you in this video will be included in the description area down below underneath this video. Hit the More button and you'll see all the information that you need there. Now, the very first thing I'm going to tell you, which you probably never thought of doing before, is actually building out your toiletry bag and living out of it for the period of time that you expect to be away. Now, I did this and I was shocked about how much I overpacked my toiletries, and especially when weight really matters. And by the end of this little demonstration, I'm going to show you how I got everything into a 1-quart size bag, including my makeup. Let's first talk about soap. Do you really need a large container like this for your bar of soap? First, ditch the hard container. It just takes up room. But do you really think you're going to need this for 2 weeks of travel or 3 weeks of travel? I mean, you're not. You can even use a hotel soap, but let's say that you're particularly fond of your bar of ivory, for instance. There are other ways to manage this. What you should do is think about how much soap you're actually going to use and cut it to that size. And now I'm going to give you 2 ideas of how you can store that half a bar of soap. You can either put it into one of these little Matador bags, which are self-drying. Just put soap in here and you're done. Or you can take a piece of microfiber like this, and actually, and I'm going to do it with a whole bar of soap, just wrap your bar of soap into the microfiber and it'll keep your bag dry. So now I'm going to move on to liquids. There are many ways to store your liquids, and it doesn't really matter if it's your shampoo or your conditioner or your body soap. You just have tons of choices that will take up less room. The first is these little kind of squeezy bottles that you can make as big or as little as you want. And what I did was I actually lived out of one of these for 2 weeks, and I was shocked that I did not need all of that. I only needed about that. And that was a bit of a revelation to me, because I was definitely overpacking liquids, and liquids weigh a ton. There's another way that you can pack your liquids. You can use these flat pack kind of containers that come in 3 different sizes, and you can pick out the size that you need. So the other thing I like about these bags is they diminish as you use them up. They also pack nicely, frontsy, backsy like this, so they don't take up room in that 1-quart bag. Toothpaste. Now, these travel size containers are great, they're fine. They're actually more than 2 weeks in here. There's more like 3 or 4 weeks in here. Remember though, that this has liquid in it, and so because it has liquid in it, it actually has more weight to it. An alternative is chewable toothpaste if you're not opposed to it, but not everybody loves the chewable toothpaste. And by the way, there's also chewable mouthwash. Or you could just pack yourself a little Listerine pack like this if you really are concerned about bad breath, and this weighs nothing. Now, I love Q-tips, and I know they come in these nice little travel sizes, but this is 30 Q-tips. And if I'm going away for 2 weeks, I don't need 30 of anything. So what I do is I tend to take them out of here and I will put it into a little bag like this. Look at the difference in size. And there's also weight that goes along with it. And that saves a lot of space. And while we're talking about dental hygiene, if I'm stuck on space, I either use a toothbrush like this, or I use this flip one. They also make even smaller ones, like thumb size. But I think that this is small enough, and it's definitely light enough. This one's lighter than this one, by the way. I've actually weighed them. Now, when it comes to flossing, and I love my flossing, I get these little tiny ones from my dentist, and I do take them with me because they're so perfectly sized. But if I run out of this, what I do is I cut myself lengths for how many days I'm away, and plus 2, and I stick them into a little Ziploc bag, and then that's all I need. So now I'm going to move on to shaving. Now, I know you've seen all those cute little shavers that they have in the videos where you have a little case and everything, except they all take up room. They all weigh a lot. What I do take is a little light portable razor like this, and this weighs almost nothing. And I've actually weighed them both, and this was literally 1/9 the weight of those other portable razors. So give up the glam, go with something more functional. Now let's talk deodorant. I have 2 choices for you here. You can go with your standard stick deodorant. I used to be a big fan of this. I have switched over since then to, and this one happens to be secret, but there are a lot of brands out there that are all body deodorants. And I like this because I can squeeze out the exact amount that I need for the trip that I'm going on, and I don't need a big container like this, because let me show you what an actual 2-week supply of this is. This is a 2-week supply of this, and look at the difference in size. And if you need a little bit more, you can get a container that's slightly larger than this, but you don't need a container this big. Now let's talk a little bit about our wash-up routines that we do every night. I'm going to show you multiple ways of how you can cut down on the amount of space that takes up in your bag. I personally like this method, which is that I have these little microfiber cloths that dry very quickly. I can wash them out, I can keep them clean, and I just throw it into here. And with that, I use, I'm showing it to you in its container so you can see, these little oil of Olay melts that you use with this, and they take off all your makeup. You want to see how small this is? Each one of these is really that small, and it soaks up really well. It removes all your makeup. If you use it in conjunction with this and you put this into a little tiny Ziploc, you're good to go. Choice number 2, I take just plain old cleansing cloths like this, saturate them with micellar water, and then I put them into a Ziploc, and I just take the exact amount that I need, and that takes up almost no room. You don't like any of those? There's these, which are these small little Neutrogena packets that are wet already, and you can wash your face down with them. The only thing that I don't like about these is that if I'm counting out 14, it's a lot. So what do I have instead? It's from Oil of Olay, and it's these dry wipes. So they come in these squares that are at this size, and I find that I can cut them in half, and they're more than big enough to get off my makeup. But if you want a whole cloth, there it is. Count out how many you need. They take off your makeup amazingly, and they even freshen your face. And by the way, this is 2 weeks worth, and it's really not much. But if you cut it in half, it's only this amount. And in the summer, I always like to take along powder with me to keep myself dry and comfortable. And I keep it in a little bag like this so it doesn't mess up my whole toiletry bag. And I reuse the container. I actually use the back of a can opener, and I flip off the top, and I do the same thing with the bigger bottle and funnel it in, and it's good to go. Now, if I'm using sunscreen because I'm going away to a sunny place, I still decant this into a smaller container because I never use this all up, never. And I actually do live out of these containers for the period of time that I think I'm going away for, just to make sure that I have enough. And that basically is everything that you're going to need for hygiene in your toiletry bag, which brings us up to makeup. And this is where a lot of women really get carried away. They take way too much makeup with them. So let me show you some little methods that I have for reducing the amount of makeup. Now, the first thing I like to do is try to collect minis from like giveaways that they might have when you pick up your own makeup. And I keep those aside from the rest of my makeup so that I have them for when I go on vacation. I also try to pick out makeup that has dual duty. For instance, this Milk Balm is not only just for your lips, you can use it as blush. It gives you just a nice little glow like this. So I don't need to take with me both blush and a lipstick. I can just take this alone. And there are a lot of brands like that out there. So I never take more than this and maybe one more lipstick, and that's it. That's the total amount of lip and blush stuff that I take with me. This is a small little mini pack of 4 eyeshadows. And you can see I've used this one quite a bit. And it folds up into this nice little compact. And I really do love this. I've taken it on so many trips, as you can see. Now, what I also like about this is that you can reuse these containers once they're used up in one of 2 ways. One is called depotting, and that's a bit too messy for me, but you can watch a video about it on YouTube. And there's another method for repressing your powder eyeshadow into a used up container. Also, you can find that on YouTube. Just use the YouTube search under broken makeup repair, and you'll find a whole pile of videos on how to refill this. And I have done it, and that is not a hard job to do. Other things that come in travel sizes are serums for your hair like this, and you can refill them. And this is more than enough for 2 weeks. Now, I always like to take Vaseline with me, and this is a travel size container of Vaseline. And this is actually what you need, a Vaseline. And obviously I've used the contact lens container. I know that many of you have seen this trip, but I'm making a point here that you don't need this size. You only need this size. And I always keep also these little bottles that I've gotten from other samples that once they're used up, I have them still here. And you can see in this one, I thought this is what I needed for 2 weeks, and it's half filled. That's why I'm saying that most people overpack their toiletries. And if you don't happen to have a little jar like this at home, you can get a pack of 10 from Amazon, and they come in decreasing sizes like this. And they even come with little paddles to decant neatly into these containers. So here's another trick on how to cut down on your makeup. I like to go into Sephora and I ask them for their samples, and they like to give out their samples. They're fine with doing that. And I usually ask for makeup that I'm going to use anyhow and I have at home. So I get these nice little containers, and they really seal tight. And a little container like this will last me up to 2 weeks. And then I use it up, and when I get home, I wash it out, make sure it's clean, and it's ready for the next time that I need to go away on a trip. And this way, not only do you get a little free makeup, you also have great little containers to keep it in. Another tip is I use up my eyeliners till they get to about this point, and then these become my travel eyeliners because they're small and they don't take up a lot of room. So this is another little trick on how you can cut down on the volume of things that you're taking in your toiletry bag. So now that I talked about what I do with my eyeliner, I also keep these small mascaras that I either get from Sephora or I get as a giveaway with other makeup. And this is more than enough for even a month's worth of travel. But it's so tiny that it saves a lot of space in my toiletry bag. So let's talk about all things spray bottles now. This is the usual travel size spray bottle. If you happen to have the hair needs that need a bottle this size, go for it. But be aware that spray bottles come in these sizes too. Look at how much smaller these 3 are compared to this. So if you don't need this, don't take this. Take these. I have these little makeup sponges, and they're washable and they're nice and hygienic, and they are really tiny. Now, in a previous video, I showed you both a brush set and a sponge set like this, but it's definitely a lot bigger. And if you're concerned on making compliance, you wouldn't want to take something that big. You want to take something small. And while we're talking about small, in here is a set of brushes. So this little brush set that comes in this little small compact container comes with a set of brushes in different sizes and this wand that you lock the brushes into, so you're not dealing with a small brush while trying to work on your face. And now let me show you another little brush set that comes in this nice little container. So it comes with an array of brushes like this, from really big ones to an array of smaller brushes, including a mascara brush. And I have to say that I think that this is a very doable size for a compact brush set, and it won't take up a lot of room in your bag. See? And another thing that I do is I keep old brushes like this, and I wash them out and I keep them fresh. And this way I'm not taking a big brush along with me, and it saves on space. Now, I happen to like this dry shampoo that I use on my vacations on the days that I might be a little rushed and I don't feel like my bangs are as fresh as they can be. So what I found is these little tiny containers that I can put my powder in, because this is a lot. I mean, this lasts me like 6 months. So what I do is I pour some of this out into one of these containers, and they even dial shut, so you don't have to worry about them spilling. You can also use this for any loose powder that you might have, for like, setting your makeup, because whether you're using it for face powder or hair powder, I mean, look at the size of this. This is big. I don't need this for 2 weeks, but this is the perfect size. So check out these 3 little bottles. They come in 3 different sizes, and you can use them for serums or facial stuff that you have. They have these nice little squeeze tops here, and you can fill it up very easily and use these to get your product out. And I found these to be very useful for products like this that I really don't need a lot of, but I do want it along with me. Now this lovely little item is a doe foot for your lipsticks, if you have liquid lipsticks or glosses and stuff. And this is just too cute. And I fill these up with syringes that I have. So what I do is I fill up the syringe with the color that I want, and then I put it carefully into the bottle. And after you put the lip gloss in here, you're going to want to put the little plug that goes on top, so that squeezes out the excess from this. And then you're done. I didn't fill this all the way up, but you get the idea. You now have a much smaller container than the original container. But look at the difference in size. And that's all I'm going to need for my trip. I use this for my makeup. What's really neat about these bottles is that they're vacuum bottles. So if I pump in my makeup like this, I can fill this up to the amount that I need. And then when I put the lid back on, after a few pumps, you'll see it forms a vacuum. It lifts it up from the bottom. So after I fill up this little container with my makeup from here, which you can see is just a fraction of the size. So you have makeup to go in a pump bottle. And when you get home, you just rinse it out and it's clean to go for the next time you need it. So now for my moment of truth. Can I get everything that I just showed you into this 1 quart size bag? Let's try. I could get that all into this bag. And believe me, this is not 2 pounds. And all that's not in there is my soap, my powder, my shower cap, and the microfibers face scrubber. And that's all that's not in there. So here's the moment you've been waiting for, my sweepstakes. First, I have to get through the technicalities of this. This is my sweepstakes. It is not sponsored by anyone. It's not tied to YouTube in any way. I am paying for everything in this sweepstakes. And it's a thank you from me to you, my viewers. And now the rules to the sweepstakes. You have to like, comment, and subscribe to the sweepstakes. I will be picking the 3 lucky winners. And yes, there are 3 lucky winners through sweepstakes.com, which picks them all at random. And you have to leave me your Instagram tag, because that's how I'm going to reach out to you. There's no way for me to reach out to you on YouTube. My Instagram tag is Perry's Passport, as you might have guessed. So let me show you what you're going to get. So this is what 3 lucky winners are going to be getting. They're going to be getting the container of small brushes. They're going to be getting the container of mixed brushes. They're going to be getting 1 powder, 1 sponge, an array of little glass containers here. I'll flip it over so you can see it clearer, with a spray bottle and 3 different sizes of the serums, plus 2 doe feet with the plugs to make sure that they work properly. They'll also be getting 2 large sprayers, 2 medium-sized sprayers, an extra sprayer for perfume and stuff, and 1 pump bottle here. And that's a lot of stuff. So I wish 3 lucky winners good luck. And now that you know how to cut down the size of your toiletry bag, check out this video over here where I help guide you through the process of picking out a personal item. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.